Hi, I'm Beckett from Courtside Sports, and today we're going to be talking about the new Head Speed G360 Plus MP. First things first, let's talk specs. So the specs of the new version compared to the previous G360 version remain almost identical. 300 grams or 10.6 ounces, head size 100 square inches, 1619 string pattern, a 62 RA stiffness, a 320 millimeter balance. To me, one of the most important specs is swing weight, and that remains also virtually unchanged. So the previous version we measured at 321, this one we measured a little bit lower, 319. You're not really going to feel a 2-point difference. I'd say specs identical. Now what has changed is the feel. So the whole idea with the Graphene G360 Plus update, the Plus refers to spiral fibers, a new structural enhancement technique that is supposed to offer a much more solid feel on impact. I can definitely say that this racket feels more solid than the last one and feels better. One thing I did not like about the previous version was it felt so muted. I really often lost the ball in the string bed. The new update, you retain a little bit more of the vibration, giving you some more feel, but the vibrations that come through aren't the harmful kind that hurt your wrist. One thing that really helps with the comfort is definitely the 62 RA, much lower than a lot of other rackets in this spec range, kind of in the tweener spec. Just wanted to quickly interrupt this video to give you the heads up that for the rest of this month, you can get 10% off almost anything in store with code APR10. Now back to our regular scheduled programming. Now, what rackets does this compare to? I would say its big competitor is going to be the Pure Strike 100. They're both slightly thinner beamed rackets compared to a lot of the other 100 square inch 300 gram rackets. So this beam width is a 23 millimeter beam width that's going to offer you a little bit better control and a little bit better feel than many of the thicker beamed frames, such as Wilson's Ultra 100, the Babolat Pure Drive and Pure Aero series, or the Head Extreme or Head Instinct. I would say the big advantage that this racket has over the Pure Strike 100 is definitely going to be comfort. Now, what a lot of people don't like about Babolat is the high stiffness. Almost all of their rackets are coming in at 70 RA or above. Now that can lead to a lot of vibrations traveling up the arm, into the wrist, into the elbow, wrist pain, tennis elbow pain. I'm sure those are all things we all want to avoid. Now, lower stiffness in many cases is not going to fix your problem, but it's going to help you avoid it. So if you've been feeling a little bit of wrist soreness, a little bit of elbow soreness, this is going to be a really good one to look at. Now, who is this racket for? If you're familiar with the Speedline, it's definitely for you. It's going to feel very familiar to the G360, a little bit different from the previous Graphene and the original Utech IG speeds, but still one you're going to want to check out regardless. It's going to be a little bit more forgiving than some of those older ones, and a little bit less forgiving than the previous version, but you're going to feel more connected. One other difference that I noticed with the new speed compared to the previous one is increased maneuverability. This racket is way more maneuverable than the last one. There were times where I felt the previous version, despite a relatively medium 321 swing weight, was a little bit clubby. I think that was really caused from a lot of stock weight at 3 and 9, so you're going to find a little bit lower twist weight, leading to less stability on off-center hits, but you should be able to compensate with higher racket head speed. Another bonus that I love with Head's lineup lately is they're keeping their prices down, especially in these little bit uncertain times. It's really nice to see a little bit more friendly pricing from racket manufacturers. A lot of other brands like Babolat and Yonex are pricing up towards that $300 mark. Now, racket prices have stayed pretty stagnant for the past 10-20 years, but I really don't want to see them be creeping over $300. Another thing about this racket is the string pattern is very open. So it is a 1619 string pattern, but not all 1619 string patterns are going to be created equal. For example, the Blade 98 1619 or the Pro Staff 1619 are going to be quite tight. That means the little squares that you see on the string bat are going to be much smaller, whereas this racket is going to have much more open string pattern. That leads to two things. Generally, it helps you create spin, so there's less friction between the strings, which allows them to snap back more. Now, you do not need to worry about that if you have a lower swing speed. To get snapback with polyester strings, you need to be able to swing hard enough to displace the string, pushing it down so it can snap back out. The other thing that the more open string pattern is going to give is a higher launch angle, meaning the ball is going to hit the racket strings and shoot higher up over the net. So if you're the kind of person who feels like, I'm missing the net a lot, this can help you get the ball a little bit higher, giving you a little bit more safety on your shot. On the other hand, if you're the kind of player who hits out a lot, you hit a swing up on your shots, this is going to exaggerate that, so you might find yourself hitting long on approach shots. That's a problem that I have. I hit with a lot of spin. I have a very vertical swing path, so sometimes I would find myself just overcooking those approach shots when I needed them. So overall, I think the G360 Speed MP is a solid update. They didn't change much because they knew they had a very solid racket combination on their hands. So definitely check this one out. It's available online at courtsidesports.com. Now, if you would like to hear more from us at Courtside Sports, remember to subscribe down below. If you have any more questions about the Speed MP, comment. I'll reply as soon as I can. And if you like this video, please give it a like. If you didn't, give it a dislike. Anything matters. We'd love your support. We'd love to know what you think. Turn on that bell notification. Find us on Instagram at Courtside Sports and follow us on Facebook. I've played with almost every racket on the market, so I'd be happy to give more personal comparisons to any of you guys. So thanks for joining us. I'm Beckett at Courtside Sports, and we'll see you next time.